Okay, welcome back. And let's see, what's the next step going to be? I think this is where we're supposed to start getting artistic. We're going to. I don't know if this grass would be real soft, meadowy looking, or if it'd be tall and scraggly looking. I know it'd be prettier. All right, we'll make that decision when we get to it. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to pick up our filbert brush, and I'm going to dip it in a little bit of thinner, just very little. Now I did put out some more titanium white and a little bit more Van Dyke brown, and I'll show you what we're fixing to do here. And this process will be done throughout the rest of this, that we're going to be doing this. Well, we're going to take this filbert brush and we're going to run it right through our Van Dyke brown on one side, flip it over, and do it on the other side, and then, well, we got some right here. We'll come right through this titanium white, just like so. And we got titanium white on one side and Van Dyke brown on the other side. All right. We want our highlight to be pointed out, so flip the brush to where the highlight's pointed out that way. Come right up to your grass line right here and just make you a little circle, just a little semicircle across here. And that's going to be creating you some little rocks. And just all down this bank, just put you in some little rock shapes. And you can see when you start running out of one color or the other, just go back and pick it up. Like right here, we was running out of Van Dyke brown. So we went and picked this up a little bit. And you can put as many rocks in here as you want, or you can put as few as you want in here. But just put them up and down the bank through here. We'll load up with some more color, both colors. And we'll come over here and we'll finish it out on this side. Just like so. Just like that. Then we'll load up again. Now on this side, we want our white out here, so flip the brush around and just work the white to where it's the highlights on this side this time. And the same thing, just put as many as you want or as few as you want. But all you do is you just make that round little shape, and it'll put your highlight in, and it'll put your dark color in at the same time. And if you've watched Bob long enough, you've seen him do this. And you can come in from the bottom and pull it in like so. You know, if you want them to appear bigger or whatever. And up and down through here in different places, you will need to do that to, you know, bring them up on the bank. And you know, a couple places. Because they don't all need to be right down there in the water. You can come in here and put you one up here on the bank, and just basically wherever you want to. I mean, at this point, it's all about being artistic, you know, not autistic, artistic. Because autistic people are really special. They are. If you've ever been around any or known any, they are They're some of God's special people, I tell you. Okay. About like that should be all we need as far as rocks go. Alright, I think I made up a decision on my dilemma. I'm going to pick up a little sap green, and I'm going to come right over here to my cad yellow, and I'm going to mix them up on my fan brush, just like so. Alright, I'll tell you what, before I do that, I done dropped it into the thinner. Alright, let me try this brush out, this filbert. And I'm going to come back into my Van Dyke brown, and back to my white again. And I'm going to come right up here, and I'm going to put a couple rocks just up and down the bank here. It don't have to be many, just a couple. And I'll load up the brush again, and I want to do the same thing over here. I want to put a couple down along this bank. It don't have to be many, just here and there, about like so. Now I got this brush loaded with my fan brush is loaded with cad yellow and sap green. And I'm going to come right up here using the corner. I'm just going to tap straight up using just the corner. All around the rocks and up onto these rocks. Just putting some little grass up around them. Just pulling it up. Just like so. Making it appear like it's taller rock or taller grass back there on that bank. Then want to come right down here and start doing the same thing on this side. Just all around our rocks. Just with the corner, just pushing up. Because if you try to use the whole brush for doing this, it's going to start putting those little smiley faces up here. And that's not what you want up here. Trust me. You don't want them up here. And the fan brush is notorious for that. It'll do it in a minute. And we'll come between these two. Get them some grass up around them. About like so. And over here it's not showing real good right here. So we'll hit it again. Right here. About like that. Then we'll pick us up a 1-inch brush. And we will come right into a little of the yellow ochre, a little of the Indian yellow, a little of the cad yellow, and a little of the sap green. And we will mix all these colors right on the brush. And we'll come right up here to the base of this grass, and we'll just start tapping across here. Come out to our rocks and just touch the rocks. And if you touch the rocks and it pulls off that little of that white or whatever, don't worry about it. It'll go away. Just keep your brush loaded for this. Because you don't have to cover up everything out here. And if you leave some of the brown, that's fine. Because we're going to come back and add a little highlight color to this in a minute, because that sun's going to get down into this valley. You know it is. There's no way for it not to. And if you run out of color, just go back and pick you up some more, you know. Because the closer you start getting to yourself back here, the more green you're going to pick up. And this color right here don't have to be that real soft, I don't know what you call that grass, but that real soft, lush looking grass that I call it fluffy grass. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a little bit. Because this color is going to be getting, it's going to be getting darker in places and lighter in places. It's going to start getting more visible to you the closer you get to the to you, because that's just what it does in paintings. That's what it does in real life. Color gets darker as it gets closer to you. And the only reason I picked up this 1-inch brush again was to help me up there in that tight spot. I guess I could have laid it down when I got out of there. That little yellow ochre showed up then, didn't it? That's the thing about mixing color on your brush. It may take it a little bit to come out, but when it does, it just adds to the effect so much. And then we'll put the rest of our color right in here. And this is just tapping. That's all I'm doing. Just tapping that color right on. Alright, now I gotta put out some more. I gotta put out some more yellow, some more cad yellow here. Because I am about out. But we can do that. Well, I said we could. We can if I find it. I've really got to work on me a better paint situator to where I know where my colors are when I need them. Alright, I'm going to put out a little more cad yellow here. Actually, I think I just put out a little too much. But that'll be alright too. Alright, let's come in here and pick us up a little cad yellow. And we'll come up here and we'll get started on our grass again. And we just want to come up to our tall grass back here and just work around these rocks and come right down to these rocks. See how it just pushes these rocks down into the painting when you do that, when you touch them. Alright, now the one thing you don't want to forget back here is you don't want to forget your lay of the land. Because if you forget that all of this is supposed to be kind of level back here, your highlights will take that away from you. So don't think that just because you've got these other colors down here that brown will not keep your lay of the land. Your highlights are going to do that. So you just have to kind of keep that in mind, all. And you know, just step back and look at it. You can see if it starts getting out of kilter on you, because you don't want one side to be all straight down and one side to be kind of at a slight angle, because that just ain't gonna work out. Now, I'm not saying there ain't places in the world where it don't do that. You may know of a place that does that. I don't, you know, right off the top of my head. And I don't want this to be that place today. I want this place to be built the way we want it built. Alright, about like that. But you can see, like, you got that rock laying on top right there. If you came back over here and just touched that, look how it just sets that right down into the paint. Alright, I guess what we're going to have to determine now is how much light we want to put in here and what else we want to put in here, because we're fixing that to go and fix our water pretty soon. Our water's not going to stay like that. We're gonna come in there and work on it, and we got to come up here and work on a couple things up here. But the main thing is we got the majority of it laid out. That's the main thing. All right. How do we want to do this? All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come up here and we'll get us some of this white, and we'll bring it over here in their dark color, and we'll get us a lighter green and yellow mix, and we'll let that sun come in here and just in a couple places. It don't have to be everywhere. In fact, we'll let our sunlight for this highlight, we'll let it be that real soft, fluffy grass. We'll start it with this color, and then we'll come back in a couple places and we'll hit it with the white in a few high spots, just to add more life to it. But then this will allow us to have it all kind of soft looking. See, I don't know what that effect in that grass is called, because over here, you know, it's smooth, and then this grass here, it just looks fluffier, you know, softer, I guess. This is that kind of grass Bob said you could take your shoes off and run through it barefooted. I really would have liked to met that man. I bet he was so fun to be around, because he's got some sayings that sometimes just soothe you, you know, just by some of the stuff he says. All right, now we're getting a little further away from our light here, so we'll try to maintain the look of the grass, but we won't put it on as bright. Now, I do know when you're making this kind of grass and you get a couple taps out of your brush, you got to go back and load back up, because if not, it'll start softening it down. And it'll turn it. It'll take that whole effect out of it. I know that. And a lot of times that's the kind of grass I make, is the kind that's real soft, because, or not this kind. I mean, I guess this would actually be softer than the kind I usually make. I usually make the kind that is smooth like this, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes I go and I look at it and I'm like, I wish I'd have made the other kind, but you know, it happens. All right, we'll mix this up a little more color for this other side now, and we'll start to work on it. We'll come right in here, and we'll come out and touch some of the rocks. You got to come down to your rocks in a few places. Don't forget to do that. You don't have to do it everywhere, but you do need to do it in some places. Through here. If you see that effect trying to go away, pick you up some more paint, because you got to keep that paint out on that tip. You know, this is that part where where you pull you out some paint, lay it down, and press it up on the edge of your brush. It gets that little ridge out on the tip, and that's what you're painting with. You're painting with that little edge, that little ridge. And if you're not real careful, that little ridge will go away. Next thing you know, you paint with the brush flat, and you done sit there and killed the whole effect. If you like doing this kind of grass, you know, that's entirely up to you. You don't have to do this kind. You do whatever kind of grass you want in your paint. But it don't look bad as far as, I didn't know that the meadow, you know, would be that soft looking or not, but it did. So it just did. All right, now we'll come over here with this dirty brush. I'll knock a little of the paint out, and we'll go right into the white. And since it's got some of that dirty green on it, it'll actually end up being a lighter green. Now the way this sun is shining down here, it could light up a lot of it. But if we come in here and we highlight everything, it's not going to look right. So we need to just pick out a couple places that the sun is brighter, or you know, at least it appears brighter, and just add little touches of sunlight in here. You don't have to add a lot. You can add it wherever you want it, or you know, if you don't think it needs it there, then don't put it there. But you know, up around the rocks some up here, put you in a little. It's up to you where. You can come down here on these a little bit and back in here. You don't have to have a direction, you know, like it can only go right here, or it can only go right there. Because that's not the way this works. I mean, you can add it really wherever you want to put it, as long as you don't take over with it. You know, don't let it, because it goes to feeling good. I'm telling you, when you look at it, you're like, wow, that looks good. Maybe I'll put a little more right here. Then the next thing you know, you've put a little more everywhere, and it's killed the whole effect. Then you'll say, I wish I had done that. And if that's what happens, well, all you got to do is come back over here and pick you up a little of this color and come back and tap it on. And it'll take it right back away. It'll turn it right back bright again. I mean, dull again. It'll put your dark color right back in there for you. The only thing is, you know, if you don't have to, don't. And this is a light touch. I'm not touching this hard at all. If you come up here and touch this color, if you just barely touch it and it don't come off that brush, like watch this. If you touch it, can y'all see the bottom of the canvas here? Yeah. If you touch it just that easy and it don't come off, then get you just a tad bit of thinner. Because this touch can't be hard. If you come up here and tap it hard, it's going to smear. And as soon as it smears, what's going to happen is you're going to end up trying to fix that spot, and you're going to end up with mud. This tap is so gentle. And I guess that's how you get that, you know, that soft, fluffy grass. I don't know what this grass is called. I really don't. I guess I need to invent a name for it. That, you know, I can, so people know what, I'm going to call it fluffy grass. That's my name for it, fluffy grass. Because it just looks fluffy. I mean, it's pretty. It looks so soft. I guess I could call it soft grass. All right. Now that we've done all that, y'all know what we got to have in this painting, or it would not be a complete painting. We're gonna have some bigger trees. All right. And I know what you're thinking. Probably thinking it's pretty just like it is. Leave it alone. But we gotta have a big tree. We gotta have a couple big trees. And we will come into our Van Dyke Brown, and we'll determine how big we want these trees. I'm gonna say right up here toward the front. Well, it don't have to be real big up here. We can come down with one about right there. About like so. It don't have to be huge. Just about like it, that's all we need. Just an old tree growing out here. We'll come back up and fix his tip. Just like so. Alright, and we'll come back here with one. We'll make him a little taller. About like so. We'll pull him down to there. We ended up with a little knot on him. You see that? What a happy accident. Yeah, about like that should be fine. And we'll give him a little friend that comes out over here. Comes in. This one's trying to grow on me. Oh, that one did grow on me. Alright, we'll stop his little friend about right there. About like so. We'll come up here and straighten this up. We'll fix that. Like that. Then we'll come over here. We'll pull one down. Kind of crooked. He don't have to be straight. About like so. About like that. He just looks crooked, and he's got so much character. Look at him. We'll go back into the Van Dyke Brown again. And we'll come up here. And we'll pull this one down. He can be kind of crooked too. He don't have to be real straight. Bob said not all trees are telephone poles. Just pull him down like so. Give him a little foot. Then we know they're gonna need a friend. So we'll bring their friend up from about right here. We'll bring him down to about right here. Shred in here like so. Yeah, that don't look bad. Alright, now let's pick us up some Van Dyke Brown now and see if we can come up here and darken them up in places. I kind of like that effect, how that Van Dyke Brown just broke up on that. That's kind of pretty. It made it look like it's got real bark on it. Watch that be the only one that does it on though. Alright, we'll pull this one down. This little tree here is just not want to cooperate, so I'll take him up like that. Alright, then I'll come over here on this one. This little crooked one. Work on his feet because I didn't give him no good feet. About like so. And then this one. Come in here and add him a little color. And this one. Like so. That should be about all we need. Just like that. Alright. Now, the $1,000,000 question. Well, no, we can do this. We'll come up here. We'll come back into the Van Dyke Brown. They don't have to have a lot of limbs on them. They don't have to have a lot of limbs on them. In fact, we can start about right here and bring out a limb. Bring out one here, one here, one here, one right through there. Just like so. One about like that. We have one come out here, and right there, and off the canvas over here, like so. Because the thing about trees is we can always bring some of the limbs. I mean the leaves. We can bring some of the leaves in over the trunk, and it'll give it that effect like you got limbs pointed at you. And that effect, when it works, it looks so good. But you don't ever have to really put a lot of limbs on these trees. I mean leaves. They don't all have to have all the way down the trunk. Because usually when you got trees this close together and all bunched up, the leaves are gonna touch in places anyway. And you know, a taller tree is gonna have more on it than a shorter tree. That's just the way it is. But we just want these trees standing up here, looking out over the waterfall, a little mountain here, a little valley. That's just having a good time. And it's not our goal to come in here and cover everything up with leaves. So we're not going to. We do this pretty much however we want to do it. It's our world. Alright, so we're going to pick us up a 1-inch brush. And I think I'm going to use that Van Dyke brown color. I mean that dark sienna color that we made up earlier, that had the white and the yellow in it. And I'm just going to add a little more dark sienna to it and just tap 1-inch brush into it. Just tap it in the side. And then I'm just going to come up here with the corner of the brush, and I'm just going to start adding some leaves up here. Just maintain you a tree shape. You know, that's the most important part right now. come across the trunk in places, and just kind of give yourself a little tree shape. That's all you got to do. Then come over here next door and start tapping him on a little leaves. Come out here on his little limbs and give them some leaves. And then come across the tree. Because when we come up here to highlight all this, don't forget, when we go to highlighting, we control the color. So we put the highlights where we want them. And the highlights is what's going to pull out the position of everything. What trees where. You know, is this tree in front of that tree? Is this tree behind that tree? Nobody will know that until we highlight them. Because they're our trees. It's our little secret where everything is. It's our decision. That's all you do is just come up here and just add you some little leaves here in a tree shape, and that's all you got to do. Because the actual, like I just said, the actual life or whatever, where the position of them is going to be, won't happen until we get to the highlight point. And when we get there, we'll determine where's what, you know. Look at that. Just went right over that little waterfall. Now we just have to imagine he's there. But I'll tell you one thing. That tree knows he's there. Because that tree's sitting there looking at him. That tree's sitting there watching all this action during the day. Enjoying it. You know he is. Our little cloud disappeared, both of them. After we sat there and made them beautiful clouds, they're gone now. Ain't that something? But we know how we made them. And we had the fun of making them. And we still know they're there. We still know they're there. Whether the rest of the world does or not, we do. Alright, put us a couple little leaves right here on this tree. Spread him out a little. About like so. I can't believe we killed all them clouds. Oh well. I'm not that sad about it really. I think this is going to be a beautiful painting once we're done. And we'll come up here on our last one. And we'll just go ahead and kill that whole cloud. Why not? I mean, we already have, so at least we still got our sun. We didn't kill it. Alright, we'll come out here and give him a few more leaves there. And we'll give him a few here. About like so. And I'd say we've pretty much added enough leaves. We'll drop that in the thinner for now, since we're not going to highlight with it. But what we will do now is we'll go right into our thinner with our script liner. And we'll go right into some Indian yellow. And some white. And we'll mix them together. And we'll look for us a sunshine color here. Because we're going to need a good sunshine color. Because we got a good sun shining up there. Then we want to come down on that side of the tree and just pull us in a little sunlight. Just pull it in streaks. Just like so. Just pull it in streaks. Just like that. If you had to, pick up a little more. Just give it a little highlight in here, especially on the side where the sun's coming down. I mean the sun's at. That's because the sun's really gonna have to. It's gonna have to work hard to hit these trees in a bunch of places with all these branches we just added. So, with that being said, you don't have to really concern yourself with too much highlight. You just want to kind of streak it on, because we're going to take another little brush here in a second. We're going to come up here and work it in. But we do want it to be, we want it to be seen, but it's not going to be as important as it is on some trees sometimes. We just want this to be visible, is all. Then we come on this side, do the same thing. Just pull it in. Just kind of streak it in like so, where that sun's hitting it. Just like so. And then we'll see it caught this one over here a little bit. Just like so. Just pull it in streaks, that's all you got to do. Just like that. And then wash it out. Alright, then pick you up another little round brush and come up here where it's got that blunt end on it, and just go down that back side, just feather it in. That's all we want to do. Just feather it right in, just blend it down. And just leave enough of it that you can see it in spots. But just let it blend into the brown where it's just a smooth transition of color. Like that. You don't want it all rough like I left it. You want to smooth it to where the colors just blend together. Just like so. And if you end up with a couple brighter spots like that, ain't nothing wrong with that. All that means is the sun just hit it a little harder right there. And just blend it on down. You can blend it all the way down to the feet if you want to. Excuse me. Then we want to do the same thing on this side. Just blend that back side in to the brown, because that brown's darker, and it'll soak up that yellow color. Now it'll tone your brown down some, but we're gonna fix that too. I'll show you just in a second. And then just lightly pull over this like that, and then do every one of them the same way. I mean, just come on that back side of that shadow, or that highlight, I mean, and just pull it out and just blend it right into the brown. That was a happy accident right there, putting that knot on that tree. I'm glad y'all seen that happen, because now I can't lie and say I did it on purpose. Somebody see that and say, "Oh man, look, you put a knot on that." Yeah, man. But y'all know the truth. Y'all know it was a happy accident. All right, now I'm gonna go back up here and pick up a little more of the Van Dyke brown now. And I'm gonna bring that Van Dyke brown down the back side where the shadow will be. and I'm going to fan it in. And just kind of blend it actually in with the highlight. And by doing that, it'll actually give you more of an impression of your tree being round now, if you blend them smoothly. But if you come down in there with a real harsh line, it'll make your tree look like squared, like it's squared off. And you definitely don't want a squared off tree. Them square trees are ugly. I can't say I've ever seen a square tree. Except for the few I've built painting. So I'm notorious for getting perspectives off at times. Because I don't really, it's something I'm gonna have to learn more of about, is perspective. Because sometimes I don't hit it just right. But I've been pretty lucky so far. People tell me when I do get it off, they'll tell me where I was off. And they tell me in a way that it makes sense. So I know in the future how to change it up. Because if somebody ever tells you on a painting that, well, you're a little off on your perspective right here. If you don't want to ask them in a formal group, especially on Facebook, because some of them people on Facebook can be kind of like buttholes. If you don't want to ask in front of everybody, say, can I message you? And probably 90% of the time, you get a private message with one of these guys, and you say, hey, what did you mean I was off on my perspective? Can you explain how and what I could do to fix it? They will sit there and explain it to you in such a way that you'll be like, oh, okay. And it helps. It really does. All right, highlight time. We're going to pick us up a little paint thinner. We're going to go right into our cad yellow and our sap green color first. We're going to mix them right on the brush. Just like so. Alright, let's come up here with the corner of the brush. And we'll just start lightly tapping. Tapping on some highlights. Just like so. And you got to ask yourself, which tree you want to be in the front. Because some of these limbs come over and go into the other tree. I want this tree to be in the front because it's the furthest one down on the ground. So we'll give ourselves a little highlight up there like so. All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Since we got this color already mixed up and working, we'll come right up here on this one. And we'll just start adding some same color highlights to him. Just like so. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of a painter called Wilson Bickford. He painted, I think he passed away a year, maybe 2 years ago. But I heard him one time explain trees in a way that made sense to me more than, I guess, anything I've heard. He said you treat this tree like a sandwich. The first thing you put down, the first little leaves, is like your first piece of bread, the dark ones. Then your trunk is kind of like the meat in the middle. And then your highlights is the other slice of bread. And that back slice of bread is the dark you're trying to leave. So you can see through these first parts, and you can see to the back side of the tree, which is the first thing you build. And that made so much sense to me when he said that. I was thinking, wow, I've never heard it put that way. But it's true. And you know, Bob, he always used to say, you want to be able to look down into it. That's where birds and squirrels live. And on the ground down here, he'd always say, you want to be able to look under it. Because that's where the little rabbits go and hide. And what that means is, it's at depth. You know, you want to have that. You want to have that depth. All right, I'm mixing a little yellow ochre on my brush now, and a little Indian yellow, and just a touch of bright red. And we'll come here to this middle tree, because this is the one we wanted next. And what that red will do is, it'll turn this yellow ochre, it'll turn it into a different kind of orange. It'll still have an orange flavor to it, but it'll be a different kind of orange. If you add lizard crimson in there with that yellow ochre, it'll give you a peachy kind of color, and it's real pretty. It's probably one of my favorite colors for highlighting. And I really need to get away from it some, because it's such a fall color that every time I paint something and I put it in it, it appears to be a fall color. And every painting don't need to be a fall color. Wow, all that back there is gone. Oh, all right. Now what I'm gonna do is pick up a little white and come in here with the same color we were just using. Since this is out here where the sun's at, and we'll make it pop. We'll add a little sunlight into it now. That sunlight will make it zing. Not like so. And it picks up just a little bit more thinner. It's not wanting to pull off smoothly, but we can do that. Come right in here. There it goes. It's pulling off easy now. That thinner will do the trick, I'm telling you. If you don't put too much. If you put too much, it'll cause you grief. Because when we say just a drop, it literally is just a drop. I mean, it don't take much at all. Come out here like so. I forgot a spot right here. Okay. About like that's all we need. We'll come back in here and pick us up a little more red. Just a little bit. We'll have this other side. We'll make it a different color altogether. We'll add a little more red to this one. Make him look like a totally different kind of tree here. And this is just a light touch. Like always when you're highlighting, it's just a real light touch. Just maintaining that tree shape. That's all we're doing. Alright, now we got our last one up there. What color do we want it? We need something that's going to stand out. Alright, y'all talk me into it. I'm going to do the alizarin crimson and yellow ochre tree that turns into the peach color, and I'll add a little white to it. That'll tone it down some. That'll send it kind of toward the pinkish side. We'll come right up here. I'm gonna start right there. Yeah, that added the pink to it. I figured it would. Alright, let's thin it down just a little. It's still pretty though. Little pink ink ain't a bad thing. All it is just cause the sun turned it that color that day, that's all. Just come up here and just lightly touch it on here and there. And then if it starts trying to lose that effect, pick up a little more crimson. It tried to go ochre on us and we don't want it to. Not right there. Come back up here and start back touching. Just maintaining our tree shape. That's all we got to do. You wanna maintain your tree shape. Or if not, it's not gonna look like a tree. It'll look like something else. Just like so. You can come back up here and in a couple places and add a little punch to it if you want to, here and there, about like so. But I'm happy with that, and I'm gonna leave it like it is, and I'm gonna wash this brush. And I'm gonna knock thinner out of it. Then we'll come right back over here into my cad yellow and green mixture. And we'll come right up here and put a little grass up around these feet, like so, like so. Just cover their feet up. Alright, now, do we do shadows or not? I don't think we are. I think we're just going to fix the water and roll with it. Now to fix the water, I have got a little small fan brush that I made by cutting down a bigger one. Because I needed a fan brush a couple times and I didn't have one that was small enough. And it happened to me a couple times, so I said, I'm going to make me a fan brush. So that's what I did. Alright, we're going to come right up here. I want to start right under our waterfall here. I'm going to start pulling this white across under our rocks. Just like so. And you're gonna pick that color up in places. I mean, there ain't no way to prevent that really from happening. So when it happens, just don't fight it. Just let it happen. But just pull that color down. And then in places where it does it, it'll just look dingy. But oh well, you know, that's just the way it is. But just try to keep it, just go under the rocks everywhere you can, you know. You're not going to see it as much on this right side because these rocks come in at a different angle. Now you'll see it back here, you know, like that one. You know, you'll see it. And maybe these couple little small ones up through here. But when it makes that bend, you won't see it where it makes that bend. And just keep working that. Just keep working that color around. And like I said, you know, don't worry about it where it's picked that brown up. Don't even worry about that. Because all that is just reflections in the water. That's all it is. Dirt. Mud off the rocks. Reflection off different things. Just, you know, you got that reflection off the sky up there. So, by no means are you going to have perfectly clean water down here that don't have something in it. It just ain't possible. I tell you what, I can't not put some reflections in here. I mean some shadows. So I'm gonna pick up, I think I'll do it with Prussian blue because it's gonna have to be cold. And so far everything we've done to this paint has been warm. So I'll find some Prussian blue and it's not going to be much of a shadow, I can tell you that. Because it's, to me, this is kind of pretty. Y'all, I hope y'all like it. It's just something a little different. Alright, to do this shadow, I am going to pick up my little sable 1-inch round, sable round. And I'm going to tap right into this Prussian blue, just a little Prussian blue on my, alright, the sun's coming this way, so we want our reflection to come off and go this way. And what we're going to do is just tap some of this color first because it's a lot of it. And then I'll come up and work it in. Just come up here at the base of the trees. May have to put a little Van Dyke brown in that to get it darker. Just like so. We just tap that shadow across like so. Excuse me. We'll do the same thing for this one. Just bring it across. Oh, wow. I feel like I got something hung in my throat. Just tap it real lightly around the foot. Bring it off like so. We'll do the same for this one. Just bring it on back. Let it start getting smaller towards the middle. Like so. Should be about all we need. We'll tap it to make it look like it's in the grass. Like so. Then we'll come over here. This is going to be kind of at an angle, so this one's going to be more off at an angle like this. So pull it back. About like so. And we'll tap it, make it look like it's sitting down in the grass. Like that. Same with this one. Pull it straight back at an angle. We'll tap it down in the grass. Make it look like it's a part of it. About like so. About like that. Then we'll do this one. We'll just add a little under it. We won't do a lot under this one. Well, we can come out on this side just a little bit with it, just to make it look like it come back in here something. Just a little bit. That'll give us dimension right there by doing that. Alright, let's come up here and tap this in a little. Because when this color dries some, it's gonna work out better. And this won't look near as bad. I mean, it don't look bad, but this won't, we'll bring this over this tree just a little bit, like so. Yeah, about like that. But once that sets in there like that, it'll look like you can walk around the trees now. Like you can walk under. Alright, we will take the script liner and go right into some bright red here. And I'll come right here and I'll sign it. And I think we will call this one done. I think it turned out fairly well. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I did. I really enjoyed painting this one. This was fun. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I love you all. God loves you more. And just remember, get out your paints, get out your palette, get out your everything you need, and sit down and paint and be happy about things, because the world we're living in right now, everybody needs to be happy. Oh boy. I don't know what I'll call this one yet. I don't know. I ain't got a name for it yet. Not that every painting has to have a name, but I don't have one for this one yet. I'll come up with something, I'm sure. Alright guys, I'm going to clean everything up and get ready for my next one. I think my next one's really going to be good. Y'all gonna want to see it. It's It's going to be done on a 16 by 20 oval canvas. Don't know yet exactly what I'm going to paint on it, but I got a couple ideas about some trees overhanging another waterfall. So stay tuned for that one. It ought to be fun. It'll probably be the next one I do, because pretty soon coming up I got I'm going to do one using some black gesso, and it's going to be pretty fun to do too. It's going to have some new stuff in it. Alright, I'm going to call it tonight. I'm going to get my mess cleaned up and go try to get this one ready to load up so you guys can see it. And y'all have a blessed night. Thank you all. The channel's growing a little bit, you know, for those that are concerned. It's slow growth, but you know, growth is growth. So if you get an opportunity and you are a subscriber and you're back, share them. You know, share them with as many people as you can. Let them see them. And ask them to subscribe, if you will. And if you're not already subscribed, well, I hope that I did a good enough job tonight to convince you to. And you can share as well. You know, I'm just a country boy looking to paint. That's all. And all the help that I can get is much appreciated, and you the guys that can help me. So thank y'all a lot for everything. See you next time, Painting with Harold.